I have an inexpensive CH341A EEPROM Programmer that plugs into the USB, and I purchased off at eBay for £4 or £5. The software that they suggest you use is suitable only for Windows. However, I use Linux. A suitable program is FLASHROM. It runs on Linux and Mac operating systems quite well. With a little bit of difficulty, you can get it to run on Windows. Not fully functional, but enough to use. I find it a bit fussy, and there is an alternative program that I quite like if I was using Windows, and I'll mention that later. First, I'll check to make sure that they have the right software loaded. I'll go to my software manager. I'm using Linux Mint. It's quite an old version, 18 at present. I should really upgrade it, but it's working okay. FLASHROM. And yes, I've got it installed. Next program I want to check for is GHEX, which is going to be my hexadecimal editor, and that's in there already. If you've not got it there, install it and use it. Another program that I like to use is called DHEX, and slightly more difficult to use. I have it installed already. You'll install it. It's ideal for comparing two files side by side. If there are subtle differences between them you want to investigate, and can come in very useful. All the three programs that I've mentioned all run in terminal. You will also need a hash code generator, GTK hash, which I have installed. You may like to install that, and it's according to what type of hash code you want to generate, whether you have that or not, but there are other ways. Without getting into too many things, we just want to use FLASHROM. Do you want to remember anything? Probably not. Do you program chips, EEPROM chips regularly? If not, this is my shorthand way of remembering how to do it. I'm just going to type in the codes, sudo to gain admin control. FLASHROM is the name of the program we want to use. The instruction for the program. The programmer is, this defines the programmer we're going to use, which is the CH341A underscore SPI. And what do we want to do with that programmer? We want to read a chip, and the instruction for read is simply read, --read. And we now need to say what we're going to do. Well, we're going to read that information to, so we've got to give it a file name, totally arbitrary. I'm going to call it read o1.bin. And let's hit return. The second thing you may want to do is write. The instruction set for writing is very similar. Copy and paste. I come back and we'll change read to write, and I'll call this write o1.bin. The write o1.bin is the file containing the information we wish to write to the chip. As you can see, it already exists on my computer here. It's ready for use. In fact, it's the EFI BIOS off of a laptop. that I am ready to reprogram in and replacing the old one with the new one. There is a third instruction that we may like to use, so let's paste the line in again. This time just delete up to this point, erase, and the word is erase. So we can read, write and erase. These are all the instructions we need to type into our terminal. Now note well, read the original data 3 times and check that are all the same. Now that's all I need. I don't need to get into FLASHROM any deeper than that, and FLASHROM does do a lot of other things. I'm going to save this as FLASHROM instructions. That's all I need, and keep that for posterity. In terminal, first of all, I need to change my directory to the desktop. Now, if you've never used FLASHROM, just type in FLASHROM, see what happens. You get some information up. It does mention our programmer, CH341A, not very informative, but it does have a help menu, so FLASHROM -- help, and here we have all the instructions, a complete list of everything that we need. Here's the longhand version and there's the shorthand version. I tend to use and have used the longhand version in the text file that I just created. There is access here to the list of supported chips, motherboards, chipsets, and you can get to that using this command here. I favour going on to the flashrom.org website because the information is clearer there, but you may not be online when using this and therefore find it easier to access the list using FLASHROM, although it's a little bit more difficult to navigate through. I'll show you what I mean. We'll use the shorthand this time, and you will see there is tons of information. Flipping up there, which is motherboards. Oh, they're still on motherboards. Now we're on chips, I think. No, chipsets. And here we are on chips. This is I'm using the Winbond 25Q64 variant. In fact, I'm using the 25Q64. Is it FV or VF? FV, I think. Right, enough of that. Let's clear that screen. So how do I use my little text file? I just want to get on and do the job. My USB EEPROM programmer is plugged in. The chip is in the programmer, waiting to be read. As I said before, it's EFI off of a laptop that I'm reading. And all I do is just copy that line, go back to my terminal, paste that line of instruction in, run, enter my password, my job's been done. It takes about 2.5 minutes, and bearing in mind this has got to be repeated 2 more times after this for your own safety. Hopefully when this is finished you'll be able to see the file written to the desktop. Right, well, we're done, and there's our file that we've just read. It's handy to have a full size keyboard with a number pad and everything, and if you use the arrow key, upper arrow key, we can repeat the information, change the file name, and read again. Again, to repeat the command, go back, change our file name, and repeat procedure again. Let's move this over and see if we have got another bin here. Read 01 bin, read 02 bin. I'll leave it to the side so we can see read 03 bin up here. Right, we're done. Now at this stage, let me clear the screen. We're going to create 3 hash codes, one for each file, and if they are identical, that would mean that the data on those files is also identical, and we needn't worry about any corrupted data transfer. To create the hash code, I'm using MD5 sum read 01.bin read 02.bin read 03.bin, and hopefully that will give me 3 checksums. And as you can see that they are all the same, the job done there. This is the information I wish to write to the chip, EEPROM, and to prove that the two are different, we'll do an MD5 sum hash code on write 01.in, and the other one is read 01.bin. And as you can see, the 2 hash codes are quite different. To write is simply go back to my text file, copy that line of text, my right line, go back to the desktop and paste it in. And I think there's something slightly wrong here, that should be always wise to check. Capital W. In this case that should be a capital W. That's what I've called the file, write 01.bin. Now that's it. This is an involved process. Firstly, it goes through the process of reading the old chip contents. Secondly, it then starts to erase the old contents and write the new contents. And thirdly, it checks the right 01 bin and the new contents of the chip to make sure that they match. I'll come back when all that's over. Right, we're finished. It's now just a little bit after 11:30. The whole process has taken about half hour. However, I would allow myself, under normal circumstances, probably an hour and take it cautiously. There's no need to check the chip again for verification of the data. It's been verified by the process. That's all I've got to say about using FLASHROM for and in conjunction with the CH341A. FLASHROM is a pretty powerful program. Some of the other functions it does, if we just go back to FLASHROM --help, you'll notice that the programmers that it supports, there's one that says internal, and there's also another one that's got a Linux SPI, and many of you already know that the Linux SPI is the module to use with the when you convert a Raspberry Pi into an EEPROM programmer, and the internal is capable of reading the BIOS on your computer. Now, let's all jump and go whoopee, because it's not recommended to use this on a laptop, and in fact you will probably brick your laptop if you do use it. They are the warnings. However, I'm not using a laptop. I'm using an old beat up computer that I've been using for years, and let's see what happens. Sudo FLASHROM --programmer. I'm using internal command and --read. I'll call it BIOS bin. No, I'll call it my BIOS. BIOS.bin. And away we go. Enter password. We're away. Job's been done. So let's go GX. If it's getting down the bottom of the page for anybody, I apologise. GX my BIOS.bin. And here we have the BIOS information that's on my computer. As I said, don't use this function on a laptop, otherwise you will, in conjunction with a laptop, there's a danger of bricking it. But go over to flashrom.org, read and thoroughly inwardly digest everything they have to say if you're going to use it for in earnest. Please do that. Now, I did say, if I didn't, my apology, but there is a program that I use to drive the CH341A in Windows, and it is called the AS Programmer. I'll cover that in another short video. This may have seemed a little bit of an involved process. I hope that you appreciate the benefits of creating a little file to remind you of the instructions you need to read, write and erase, and a little memory note about reading the data 3 times. It may come in handy to you. It certainly comes in handy to me, and I hope you appreciate the ease with which copying and pasting that line of text into the terminal can save you some frustration or create you some frustration. It really is up to one's personal choice. I find it useful.